All right. So, as always, Willis, we've always got a lot to go over in a very short period of time. What questions do you have before, or what would you like to accomplish before we go ahead and jump into our stuff?
Oh, I don't really have anything today. Go ahead and jump into your stuff.
Gotcha. All right. And did you get a chance to look over your updated Action Vision plan?
I did, but I haven't found anything that's updated on it. I've seen it here, it's printed off, but I
Yeah,
read over both of the last one and this one. I couldn't see anything that's updated, but I'm probably missing something.
yeah, no worries. It's just the scoring of it. And so,
Okay.
it's just the scoring of it. So we'll go ahead and dive into that. So
Oh, okay. On that side, yeah, I do
yeah,
see it
there's
now.
little check marks, yeah, and that kind of stuff. So there's short-term things in business, and then there's long-term things. So short-term things are going to be things that go ahead and are easy to do, and they feel good. But often they're not, it's not going to change. I mean, it's going to help out, but it's not going to be dramatic. It's not going to, what we try to do in the coaching is do a blend between short term and long term and, go through that. So the action vision, we'll spend a little bit of time on that where you're going to get your short term bump in productivity. You're going to, have more time. You're going to have less stress. You're going to go ahead and have, you're going to feel less pressure. You're going to be more productive is going to be in the personality stuff with your employees and other people around you. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
I think so.
Yeah. So once we go ahead and, once we get the readings of the personalities from your employees, once we get those, we'll start to explain the personality of your employees, and you'll probably go like, "Wow, that's right on." Like, man, that's amazing. Then we can help you to learn how to read those like we do. And then you'll learn how to respond in a way that helps all your employees to be more motivated and more productive.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it sounds pretty far fetched, but I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because so I was 23 years old coming out of college. I took my first professional job in sales and I moved very quickly into sales management, eventually into vice president of sales. And the golden rule, how treat other people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for a personality like mine. So I'm just saying, you know. So um so I like when people are direct with me, you know. So I like when people, somebody's got an issue with me. Like if somebody's got an issue with me and they're just like they think I'm an idiot, I just say, "Hey, I think you're an idiot, Mark." So I just like when people are direct with me. So I'm thinking applying the golden rule, so I was just direct with people. This did not work so well in management. Like, I don't know, I'm just applying the golden rule here. Like I'm just being honest with people. People don't want honesty. I do, but most people don't. So I was really struggling in leadership. And I'm like, by then I'm probably 25 years old. And I'm like this isn't working. And I ran across something along the personality lines, and all of a sudden everything clicked for me. And the same thing happened in my marriage. Like it's like, we got married. She was 19, I was 20. We're going through college and stuff together. And I don't know, first couple of years were just brutal for us. I'm like, really, God? Like, is she put on this planet to just irritate the living daylights out of me? I don't understand her. I just don't understand her. And when I got into the personalities and started doing that with the salespeople and leading, I'm like, wow, this stuff is so cool. So, and then with my wife, I'm like, okay, so she's not there just to irritate me. She's just wired in a very different way. And if I understand that wiring, then I can, dwell with her in wisdom and understanding. Then we have 7 kids and they're all personalities are different. So with me, I'm kind of like socially autistic. What does that mean? It means that if I think somebody's stupid, I'll just tell them I think you're stupid. Like, I think that's just being kind and nice and, and honest with people. It's not. I mean, it doesn't work. So there's something that's called the platinum rule, which is treating people the way they want to be treated. And so it's understanding. So I think you'll find, the personality stuff, like it just absolutely transformed how I saw business, how I saw leadership, how I saw my wife and my kids. It just transformed my whole perspective on people. So I think it'll do the same to you. Have you gotten a chance to look through that? The personality mastery is the DNA for people.
Uh, yeah, I did a little bit. Not within the last couple days here. I haven't, but I did last week. But I don't have them in front of me.
Okay. And did you get a chance to, ask anybody those questions?
I probably had the chance, but I didn't.
Okay. So if you could do that this week, and again,
Okay.
it can be anybody, it can be your wife or kids, it can be, workers, anybody you want. You could get 2 or 3 of those down, and then you bring them back, and I'll show you how to go ahead. If you write them down in your, if you write them down in the, in the packet in the printout there, if you write them down and then you just tell us, my wife is this personality. You give us how her shapes are and how that are your kids or your workers or whatever, and we'll go through and we'll explain their strengths and weaknesses and how you can interact based on your personality.
Okay.
And I think you're going to find that to just be like you'll see a whole nother world of understanding. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if it's really that way, it blows my mind. But yeah, okay.
I'm telling you, that was that would have been 38 years ago that well, no, that would have been 34, 36. That'd have been 36 years ago that happened to me. And I'm telling you,
Okay.
it's wild. I mean, it's funny because, now I've written 17 books and all the books have something on personalities. I've traveled all around the world and spoken on personalities. Tom Kuntz, who's the most recent past president of Century 21, so he had 140,000 sales agents in 70 different countries. And he went through a course that I taught on this. And he said, Mark, he said, I've been through every personality assessment under the sun. He said, I have never seen anything so simple as what you guys have and so powerful. He said, this stuff is absolutely amazing. So he had been through a lot of personality training. Um, it was so interesting that it was over the holidays, over Christmas. So his whole family got together, his growing, his kids and their spouses, and then his wife, and then his first wife was there too. So they had been married he was raised Mormon. I think his first wife and him were married for 20 years, his second wife, at least 20 years. So his first wife was there, and he gave everybody the personality test. And he said something very interesting. He said to me, he said, Mark, He said, I absolutely love and adore my current wife. He says, I'm glad I'm married to her. He said, honestly, though, if I would have known this, if I'd have gone through this course, I don't think I would have divorced my first wife. He said it explained everything about our marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't it's impacted, a lot of people like it has me. And so, with me, I kind of struggle. I love people, I just don't like them. And so, I struggle with people. I just don't understand why they think what they think and stuff like that. So it's given me like a DNA map to understand different people. So I'm better able to connect with them, better able to motivate them, better able to understand them, all of those type of things. So yeah, you try that. I think once you get into it, you'll go ahead and see, oh, that's pretty interesting. That answers so many different questions. Tom also said, he said, Mark, and this was after he retired from Century 21. He said, Mark, if I'd have known this, before I retired, I would have made it mandatory that all 140,000 agents go through this course. He said, this thing is it's just crazy how powerful it is. So, and then you'll start
Uh,
getting good at it where you can identify customers or vendors or, suppliers or anybody, and that will help you to better understand them. So we'll
okay.
get into that. Um, and then anything, how you doing on anything with your referral partners? I'm sorry,
Um,
anything asking for referrals?
I mean, yeah, just locally, yeah. I mean, we're getting some stuff together today actually on a couple. Got scope for one new contractor, and yeah,
Okay,
so
good,
I don't know.
good. So one of the things that are you familiar with Miracle Grow?
With what?
Miracle Grow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you were.
Yeah.
It's like cow manure, so it's like you plant it and it helps things, grow faster.
Right.
Testimonies are like that. Stories
Okay.
are like that. And so if you go ahead and can get testimonies of your contractors or customers or anybody, if you can get testimonies of people that have done business with you and or referred business to you, and you share those testimonies with other people, um, what will happen is that will be like Miracle Grow. That will be like, like cow manure. Like that will help things to grow faster. You'll get more and more referrals.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. As your business grows and you get more customers, what's the next problem you then have?
Go ahead with that question again.
Sure. So
I
as your
was jotting
business,
down notes. Sorry.
yeah, no worries. So as your business grows, and it expands, so as you get more business, more referrals, more customers coming in, what's the next problem you have?
Workers
Yeah,
or
it's
employees having employees to do the work or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So and as a business owner, there's always the tension. Like I want to get more business, but if I get more business, I mean, you can probably get your employees when you understand personalities, get some systems, you can probably get about 30 to 40% more productivity out of your employees than theirs.
Okay.
I don't know yours, but typically that's what it is. But at some point,
Okay.
you got to have more employees. You just do.
Yeah.
So the same concepts that are true in attracting clients, building your business, it's the same principles, the same systems that are there in growing your employee base. And so at certain times, and Marla may slide in, or we may help you in different areas. So we may give you, some direction on how to do it, or we may just slide in and talk to your employees. It's kind of up to you on how you want it done. But if we can get a testimony from your employees on why they enjoy working with you, if you take that testimony, and I learned this technique from Tom Kuntz actually. So they paid a very high priced psychologist to come in and help them, so 140,000 agents, obviously that's a lot of employees, And so this
Yeah.
psychologist came in and Tom talked to him as how do you get really good employees? And the psychologist gave Tom some crazy cool advice. He said, get your number one agent, the agent you'd love to have 100,000 of them, your best agent, your best employee, and take them out to breakfast or lunch. And then have a tape recorder there and record them and say, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to record your answer if that's okay with you. And then ask them, why do you love, working for, our company? And then have the employee go ahead and, just reply on why they love working for you. And then the psychologist went ahead and said, take that and transcribe that, write that out exactly word for word on what the employee said. And then take that and put that in an ad in a local newspaper and say, are you looking for a job like this? And he said
Okay.
there's psychologically you will attract that same type of person. So in the 530 grid, and do you have the 530 grid there or not?
Oh, I do not. The only ones that I
Okay,
brought with me today were the Action Vision
gotcha,
grading sheet or whatever you call them.
gotcha. So I don't know if you have the ability to, like have a 3-ring binder and hole punch.
Okay, put everything in there.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
have everything in there and kind of organize that in tabs or whatever you do, because then we can kind of go back and forth. In the 530 grid, that helps you to kind of see picture wise how everything is. So you're able to connect and relate to it. And so the same thing that we're doing in building systems, the mistakes that a lot of business owners make is they put a lot of time and money into growing their business, but they're not building the same systems in with their employees. And you can only go ahead
Yeah.
and get as much business as your employees are able to be able to produce.
Right.
Right? Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's take a look here at your Action Vision plan. So we did November as the your benchmark. So this is before coaching. And so before coaching, you're doing 22%. If you look at that first column, you'll see at the very top it says 000%, and then 96%, and then 74%, and then 22%. Do you see that there?
Yes.
Okay. So that first number, they're working on that. There's a glitch in the program. And so that shouldn't be 0%. It should be 22%. It's calculating it right. It's just not displaying it right. And so your 22%, that's how much of your plan you're currently doing.
Okay.
Um, you're on track to get 96% of your 1-1, your gross income goal. So you have a positive 74% variance. Normally, there's over a 12-month period of time, there's a positive 4% variance. So it takes, 3 or 4 months of scoring to go ahead and get a really accurate reading and stuff. So this first one is what it is. If this were to hold true and you did, like 70% of your plan, if your percentages continued to be the way it was, you would make, rather than 250,000, you'd make 325,000.
Okay.
So again, it takes 3 or 4 months. So we go through and we score every month. We just take 3 to 5 minutes to score. Did you work on it? Did you complete it? Did you not do any work on it? And then the program calculates what percentage of your plan you're doing.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So for next week, if you want to kind of take a look, I mean, we could start at the top if you wanted us to, and kind of talk about, the next, the three. So we could talk about 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we could give you more information on how to do that. So that's one way we can go through your action vision plan, is once a week we go through 3 or 4 of these and explain what it is you're currently doing and what you could do to improve without taking any additional time. It's learning to work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
The other option you could do is, if you wanted to, is you could come back, next week, and you could say, "Hey, Mark, can we talk about, 114, 117, and 123?" So
Okay.
you can choose which ones. If one kind of catches your eye, we can go in and do it that way. So there's either one of those, either one of those. The goal is to get systems in place to where, your business is running. These things are like you're getting a big check, you're completing an action without you actually doing any of the work. That's the goal.
Okay.
So right beside the 1-2, 3, and 4, you'll see a blank space. And so you can write in there if you want to. You can delegate. So again, going back to your business x-ray. So there's 6 ways to do something, Willis. You can do the work yourself, but if you do all the work yourself, you end up owning a job, not a company. Or you can delegate, systematize, contract out, hire someone, or partner with someone to do that work. So pretty much 1-2 all the way down to 1-20, all of those things you could apply the 5 time management freedom fighters.
Okay.
But 121 through 124, you kind of got to do that on your own.
Yeah.
Now, I for the last 15 years, I've contracted with EVAs, which are executive virtual assistants, and they're absolutely magical. And so I've had them over the years actually go ahead and on anniversaries or special days, they'll get gifts for my wife. And she knows that
Okay.
they're getting the gifts for her. She knows that, and my wife still appreciates it. Or they'll set up a long weekend or, whatever. Um, so I have even my personal things, I can still go ahead and get help to get those things done. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Do you have any questions on any of these actions you want us to go into more detail on, or you just want us to cover maybe the first 2 today?
First 2.
Okay. So the first one, 1-2, is going to be help Willis to manage and lead the crew without any help from Willis and develop long-term plan and partnership structure. So the first thing you're taking action on that is actually the personalities. So when you get your crew and their personality, that's going to help you to understand um, about them, and then maybe who might be able to take more leadership in doing that now.
Okay.
Once you get everything into a 3-ring binder, we'll have things where you can go ahead and go to certain pages and you can look at certain things. So the different personalities, all 4 of the 4 personalities can be leaders,
Okay.
but they will lead in a very different way. And so a driver personality will lead in a different way than an amiable and analytic, different than expressive. So you might have
Mhm.
somebody that's, on your crew that you could get them to do things you're currently doing. But if their personality is different than yours, they're likely going to need to do things in a different way to be successful. Often business owners
Right.
think you have to do things the way I do them. And that's what's worked for the business owner, but it's not going to work for the employee because they're a different personality.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And then in 1-2, there's a whole bunch of tools. So there's literally a massive library, literally of hundreds of thousands of pages and resources and stuff that we've developed. There's millions of dollars of tools and systems in the Action Vision that, as we see you need these tools, we'll get these tools to you. We don't want to get too much to you to where it jams your senses and you're overwhelmed from it. So we kind of, ease these into you. But there's other tools in 1-2 that will help you in understanding your employees, their goals, their dreams. So, you want to have a vision for your company and you want to know what your employees' goals and life vision is so you can blend their vision into the company's vision. So they become as committed to your business as you are, and your business becomes as committed to them as your business is to you. So
Okay.
we'll introduce some of those tools as we go through. 1-3 is leadership. So, Clone Willis, I think we've gone through the 4 levels of learning, right? The unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence. We've gone through those 4, right?
Uh, yeah, I think so.
Okay, I can go through them again. So the
Yeah,
unconscious,
do that.
yeah, the unconscious incompetence, that's where we're stupid and we don't know it. We're not born into this world like that. We're actually born into the world in level 2. So level 1 is unconscious incompetence where we're stupid and we don't know it. Level 2 is conscious incompetence where we're stupid and we know it. That's how we're born into the world. So as a little child, they know they can't walk, they can't talk, they can't do things. So you don't have, small children, they're consciously incompetent. They're aware of all these, their siblings and all these other adults that are doing all these things and they're behind. So they work to catch up. So that's level 2 is where massive learning can occur. Level
Okay.
3 is a conscious competence. That's where you're good at something and you know you're good at it. And over time, that's what happens. You just get good at it and you know you're good at it. Over additional time, you'll move into a level 4, which is unconscious competence. And that's where you're really good at something and you don't even know why you're good at it. It's a great
Okay.
place to be for personal productivity, but it's not a good place to be to manage other people or put systems in place because you're good and you don't even know why you're good. Make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
And so in this here, what we have to do is we have to figure out where your unconscious competence is, where you're really good at stuff and you don't even know it. And so we'll start to give you tools and exercise just to journal stuff, just to write stuff down, and then teach you how to ask your wife and other people to get feedback on where they see you're good at things. So often we don't see where we're really good at something.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right, sir. Anything else you got?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Have a blessed week. Thank you.
All right, thanks, you too.
Bye.